Andrew has finally stopped bleeding,
Yeah.
so we're gonna start filming. Hi friends, welcome to the All-Canadian Reptile Girl. I'm Annaliese, and I'm in the midst of researching how to install an indoor pool in my basement. For reasons completely unrelated to the topic of this video, and you shouldn't second guess me on that, actually. Today we're diving headfirst into the splashy, scaly world of Varanus salvator, better known as the Asian water monitor. They're massive, they're powerful, they're kind of like the Ferrari of the lizard world. They're fast, they're sleek, they're expensive, and most people are not properly equipped to keep one in their garage. What is an Asian water monitor? Short answer is they're awesome. That's it, right? That's all they needed to know. That's all there really needs to be told about them, right?
No.
We can, no?
You have a whole video.
Okay, fine. The short answer is that they're awesome. The long answer is they are a very large species of lizard native to South and Southeast Asia. You'll find them in countries like Thailand, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka. If you inferred from their name, Asian water monitor, that they love spending time in the water, you get a gold star. Good job. You figured it out. They are semi-aquatic, spending a ton of time hunting and swimming in the water, obviously. Their streamlined body and super long, like nearly as long as their whole body long, triangular tail kind of acts like a propeller, zooming them through the water with ease. Did I mention earlier that they are large? Yeah, they big. With specimens reaching well over 3 meters long, although 2.5 meters is a more typical max size, Asian water monitors are the longest lizard species alive today. Longest though, not the biggest. That's the Komodo dragon, also a monitor lizard. While the water monitor can get longer than a Komodo, they aren't nearly as bulky and massive as a dragon. A big Komodo dragon can easily weigh upwards of 100 kilos. Water monitors usually only get about half as heavy, which one could argue makes them a much more manageable pet than a Komodo dragon would be. But a 100-pound water monitor is still a lot for anyone to wrangle. We'll get to more on that in a bit. Asian water monitors are usually solitary in the wild, but are able to adapt to human presence well. In the wild, those living in urban environments do quite well foraging for human food, as well as their normal diet. They're like the raccoons of Southeast Asia, except they are so much more dangerous. But they're gentle giants, but don't approach them. Like raccoons. That wouldn't stop me with either one.
Yeah.
In captivity, they can make wonderful, rewarding, very friendly pets with enough work. And that's the key. You have to put in the work. With the jaws and the claws and the tail that they have, you cannot afford to not socialize an animal like this. Not happening. Speaking of those strong jaws and claws and razor-sharp teeth that those jaws house, it should surprise no one that these are carnivorous predators that will eat rodents, birds, fish, small lizards, snakes, just pretty much any living thing that is smaller than they are is fair game. They are opportunistic feeders who will raid nests for eggs, eat carrion if they find it, occasionally garbage if they live in urban areas, as I mentioned. Some, like the one in this clip that is currently playing, will even raid local grocery stores. If it's edible, they are eating it. They are often ambush predators, but have no trouble actively hunting, using their long forked tongue to find olfactory and chemical cues, much like a snake does, to track down their prey. Once they find it, there is very little out there that can stand up to their Hunting and feeding aside, they aren't overly aggressive in temperament, but can and will use those aforementioned jaws and claws to great effect in defending themselves against a threat that decides to be a threat for some reason. But arguably, even more deadly than their physical tools are their mental ones. These guys are smart, like genius for a reptile level smart. They might not be the world's smartest lizards, But if you think that they are, the worst that could be said of that is you would only be very slightly wrong by the tiniest of margins. These guys are very intelligent. Studies have shown that they can solve simple puzzles, learn to associate visual and audio cues with food and other items, and show signs of object permanence. Some things that I don't even have. They are expert problem solvers with terrific spatial awareness, another thing I don't have, and navigation. And are great at escaping enclosures that aren't fully secure. They can recognize individual humans and show preference or avoidance, and they can remember those people after lengthy absences. Memory retention, that's huge. There are even anecdotal reports of monitor lizards learning how to count. Now, you should take that with a grain of salt. There is no proper scientific study demonstrating this. There are studies that show that they possess some skill in numerosity. Basically, they can identify that more of something is more. Like, they can tell that a group of 20 bugs is more than a group of 10 bugs, but they don't know it's specifically 20 and 10. They understand the concept of more or greater in number than, but the claims that they can actually count, no verifiable evidence of this. But honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that anecdotal evidence turns into hard scientific data supported by some studies down the road. All this to say, these guys are smart. If you have one, it could probably build a website with today's sponsor, Squarespace. Just kidding, I don't have a sponsor, but Squarespace, look at that transition, how smooth. I don't know why I said it like that, but how cool would it have been if that was a real ad read? Come on, I'm cute, I'm quirky, I'm funny, hit me up. Yeah. So what's it actually like keeping an Asian water monitor? Well, I don't know. I have not kept one. I have had the wonderful good fortune of meeting and interacting with a couple, and it was, well, as I said, wonderful. The first was Elvis at the Reptarium in Michigan. He's a big boy and was just so chill about everything. He strolled out of his enclosure like he owned the place, kind of because, you know, it's his, right up to his favorite sunny spot by the door, and he just like splooted and he just hung out with me. It was really cool. He was happy to get some scritches and share space, and to be that close to a lizard that big and have him just be content with my presence was incredible. The other Asian water monitor I am proud to call my friend is Leonard at Clint's Reptiles. Leonard and we just clicked right away. He was happy to be pampered and loved on in his enclosure by anybody and everybody, and maybe it's just wishful thinking, I get that, but he seemed to really connect with me, and he would eagerly like climb out of his home to sit on my shoulders and nuzzle in, and he was just the coolest. He would come when I called, and he was super calm and friendly and like curious to come see me. I visited Clint's again the following year, and Leonard acted as if I hadn't even been gone a day. Immediately came out to see me, happy to get some cuddles. It was great. Now, that is a very narrow view into what actually keeping an Asian water monitor is like in a public facility. What are they like as pets in a home? It's not all cuddles and piggybacks, is it? I don't know. I'd need to talk to someone who has one so that they can tell me what it's like. Road trip? Road trip? Road trip? Road trip! I am here with Andrew of Andrew's Reptile Ark. Andrew, you've got you've got some amazing pets here that we have already met, but despite how cool all of your other animals are, I'm actually here today to talk about Toothless, who is grumping over there in his tub.
He's kind of pouting in the corner over there,
Yeah, he's side-eyeing us, like, real hard. And every time we say his name, he like, and then he does it again.
Like, you're talking about me, right?
Yeah, like me?
Yeah.
We had an adventure.
We did, yeah.
Oh, buddy. Which is a good demonstration of why these guys, even though they are incredible, are not for everyone. Why don't you tell us about Toothless?
So, yeah, Toothless, our Asian water monitor, he's 54 inches long. They're an animal that's loaded to defend themselves and basically go out and eat anything they can possibly find. Mm-hmm. And that's claws, teeth, tail, pretty much everything can hurt you, so in this case it did. In all intents and purposes, an apex predator that you are kind of domesticating. There's 4 years of a relationship in this animal, and even now he's not as good as some water monitors are. So where they come from is basically everything can eat them, so they have to be very standoffish with everything.
Yeah.
But as they age, less and less things can eat them in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting into a size where he knows I'm not going to eat him. So
Yeah.
now he's a little bit more nicer, despite what happened. He is a lot more nice than he was.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends how you raise them, but even then, it really depends on the individual. I wasn't really expecting how long it would take to develop a relationship to even now.
Mm-hmm.
I was assuming we would be best friends by now, and similar with Bowser or you with Jub, it would be like that.
Yeah.
But these animals aren't as programmed to like humans. Of course, there is exceptions. But in this case, 4 years of a relationship and I can just touch his tail and he doesn't hiss. And that's kind of where people lose track of what they're keeping. Is some of them are not going to be like that. Some of them are going to be, really friendly. Others are going to be not friendly.
A lot of people would think, oh, you leave it alone, it can calm down.
Yeah.
You gotta work through that with them, which is rather daunting. I mean, even though his name is Toothless.
He's got a lot of teeth,
He's got a lot of teeth that could do a lot of damage. And
Yep.
that is not the only thing, like you said. They are built to be deadly in every part of their body.
Exactly.
And it's not like a duck where it comes like already half done.
Yeah, no.
No. This thing is basically wild.
Yeah, but that's what it's going to be like. It's not for everybody, and when you're dealing with intelligent reptiles or intelligent animals in general, you have to be able to be stubborn, keep working on the animal, and eventually they should turn around, right?
Their version of stubborn is made to keep them alive.
Yep.
We need to rationalize with their stubborn.
I just have to be willing to put the work in and willing to kind of leave the cage and come into the cage and have it be a positive environment. When you leave the enclosure, the animal's still thinking about what just happened. And the learning, in this case, we fed him right after, so it should be a positive experience.
What was preparing for this guy like in terms of the resources? Because he has an amazing enclosure. So what did it take to get here?
First, he was in an enclosure that was made out of particle board, which does rot very quickly. 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet high. And that lasted for about a month before it rotted out. Then I switched to a 6x4 by 6 feet tall. And that was kind of the second cage he spent most of the time in. But it's all made out of wood. You can't buy enclosures that size, right? It's one of those things where you have to custom make. And even this enclosure, you can see he's worked his way and scratched it. Pretty much all reptiles will try to find a weak point and try to get out. And they don't have the ability to know, hey, once I get out, I don't know what to do. I want to be back in.
How do I get back in?
Yeah.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. I just do things.
But it's basically learning from your mistakes. If you seize escaping from somewhere, then you have to fix it right away. You can't just say, oh, I'll do that in another month. And that's what I think surprised me the most is how many times I had to upgrade the enclosure, make it not just escape attempts, but just in general, like things weren't working. This wasn't the original pond in here. It's on cinder blocks because he's able to scale this and get in. So by putting it up there, he can't do it very well, so he has to use this ramp. In the other one, he was able to fall in and out, which made the ground rot out.
Yeah.
Which now...
Then he can dig, and then he can get under, and that's not... No one wants that.
So now, here is a concrete board, a pond liner, a tarp, and then rubber matting, so he can't dig underneath it.
And it's screwed in tight. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I like, you have silverfish too. Okay, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, there's silverfish in my Tagu enclosure, and I'm like, I don't know how you got there.
yeah,
No one else has silverfish. Someone else does. I'm not alone.
we do. There's a lot of times where we used to dig underneath the tarp because we didn't have this rubber. So we'd dig underneath and not be able to get back out.
Oh no, it's the exact same issue of getting out and then going, I don't know where I am, help.
But that's the brain trying to figure out what's going on underneath the soil. You basically have to go around and pick out the points where he's digging or scratching or something and try and stop it right away.
Yeah, you almost have to, before you put them in, think like, okay, if this was my life and I needed to get out, how would I do that?
Exactly.
And then you need to fix those points that you just found, and then you need to put them in and see where you were wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's...
And no matter how much research you do, you'll never iron out every single problem. There's always going to be issues. Like in this, we talked about 4 different locks just to make sure that this door doesn't open. And even then, I'm thinking about putting chicken wire or something over top of it so he can't push it. Like, you can bend this glass if you really want to.
Yep.
I want to prevent that for when he's a lot bigger, because I don't know if he's male or female yet.
Yep.
And that's the thing, males get huge. 8 feet, they can weigh 65 pounds. That's a huge lizard.
Hey, quick update here. So, not long after my visit, Andrew messaged me on Instagram and told me that Toothless laid eggs. So, I guess that answers that question. Toothless is the lady. Now, Andrew did post a video all about that. Go and see. Right here. You can just go and click. I would definitely recommend watching it. Toothless has never been paired for mating before, and Asian water monitors can reproduce through parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis, just in case you didn't know, is reproducing without a mate. So usually in parthenogenesis, the offspring are identical female clones of the mother. However, this is not true of monitors. In monitors, they undergo something called facultative parthenogenesis. Basically, the offspring are always male in parthenogenesis in monitors. So, that's really cool. And we'll be talking more about that in an upcoming video on Komodo dragon. So I won't go too much into it here. You can learn all about it then. So make sure you're subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. That way you will get the update when I release that Komodo dragon video. That way you can learn all about facultative parthenogenesis and Komodo dragons, because they're just really cool on their own. So yeah, watch that. But now you're going to watch past me and past Andrew accidentally misgender water monitor for the next few minutes. Enjoy. Yes.
And they are really strong. Like, it was hard to get them back in.
Oh yeah, they don't want to do something. They're not really.
Circling back to the original question, there has to be a lot of research, but there's things that will not prepare you for actually owning it. You kind of have to use your intelligence about reptiles to kind of figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work.
And like we were saying earlier, which is exactly that, is you need to have a basis of understanding for the just body language and operation of the brain for these animals. Like, this is not a beginner-friendly animal, no matter how good of a beginner you are.
No.
You need to actually have experience to be able to just keep this animal, let alone handle it.
When I was first getting into the industry, I hated hearing, oh, this is a intermediate, this is a beginner reptile, this is an advanced.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's just
true.
It is.
I think
you can work up to it all you want. You can jump steps maybe, but you can't start with an animal like this.
No, I think for most like colubrids and stuff like that, like there isn't really, in that case, it comes into play of beginner, intermediate, and experienced keepers when the animal can do a lot of damage and is incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
That's when those rules really come into play, like with venomous or like him. Or even like tegus. Tegus are a little easier in a way because they are socially smart.
Yes.
They have a social etiquette even though they are not a social species, which means that some beginners, if they are the right people, could. But yeah, as a general rule, big lizards
are pretty advanced.
Not for the faint of heart or...
Tegus, I think, are your intermediate big lizard.
Yes.
And after that, you can branch out and go into other animals, but...
Yeah, they're how you start to accumulate experience for this.
Exactly.
Keyword start.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people can't dedicate an entire room to their lizard. And obviously, enclosure size difference. This is 8 by 6, and even then I'm thinking about increasing the size. Even this size is really considered small. So that's
you were saying that you wanted to extend that way,
And even this pond is small. I want to increase it so that from here to there is going to be pond. So it's 250 gallons is the Laguna one. So I'm going to put that in. But that'll come with expanding the enclosure, of course. And dealing with that.
Never-ending upgrades with reptiles.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Another thing that surprised me is filtration. And the amount of research alone I had to do into proper filtration. This is 150 gallons, but... because I couldn't put a fluval system or a pond system. We're using an aquascape filter, which is designed for large ponds,
Yeah.
and a 2,500 gallon per hour pump.
Wow.
So it requires a lot of power
Yep.
and a lot of gallons per hour.
Okay.
Because his poops are so big, they clog the filter. They clog that pump, so I need something to pre-filter the poop, which I can remove, so it can go, the water can go into the filter to get filtered and come back out.
That probably wasn't in the care guides.
No, it was not.
No, it's not.
They
Yeah.
just say a large pond with a filter. Doesn't really capture the whole thing that you need to. So
Yeah.
I put this on a system where I can remotely shut it off. So I don't have to worry about it in case it breaks and it starts shooting up like that. I can turn it off remotely.
Because that would be a bit of a disaster with all of these lovely lights in
right?
here that are expensive.
And I have a camera watching him constantly.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually a good point, is the camera.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are you going to do if you're gone
Exactly.
for a day trip and he escapes? You need that monitoring.
Exactly. I can see where
For
he
the
got out.
monitor.
And yeah.
I'm not that funny. Let's talk about their diet. I know that they commonly get obese, sadly. They get overfed or they get fed the wrong stuff. So what do you give him? Because he looks great.
When you talk about obese water monitors, it's a lot of people associate their prey drive or their ability to eat as their hunger all the time. Monitors consume huge amounts of food so they can go periods without eating.
Similar to snakes.
Exactly. And most reptiles can do that. Like caimans over there can go months without eating.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how hungry they get, they still have to be on a schedule. Like he gets fed 3 times a week, big feedings twice a week, and then the middle one is kind of just to tide him over kind of thing. I think a lot of people go into their enclosure, they see them eating large amounts of food, and that's what they do. They're just going to eat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what leads to the obesity problem in monitors in general.
They're opportunistic eaters, which cannot be always trusted to
Yes.
eat the correct amount. So what do you feed him?
The majority of his diet is rats, chicks, egg. I fed him chicken breast, although that's an expensive route to go. Chicken thighs is one of his favorite with the bone in. This monitor especially can break down huge bones like no problem. They can eat entire chickens and break down every single bone. Stomach acid in humans can't do that.
No,
Theirs is
heavy
basically
duty.
battery acid.
Industrial grade stomach acid.
And so he really likes that, plus it's a great source of calcium, stuff like that. So they're meat eaters at the end of the day.
Hypothetical question, pie in the sky, you just won the big lottery, money was not an object, you could do anything. What are you giving Toothless?
I would love to custom make something where I have one section of his cage inside and then a door I could open and give him an outside fence section that obviously is totally enclosed.
Almost like a catio some people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something that we would want to do.
Well, thank you so much for your answers. I think you have given us and the viewers a lot to think about and a lot of insight into this incredible and rather aloof species.
Yes, they are
So pretty.
very rewarding, but it's definitely not for everybody. But
Yes. And you've done a good job of saying that.
Oh, thank you.
And
Yeah.
also still being a wonderful keeper for him.
Oh, thank you. And I'm very happy with the job I've done so far. Obviously, it's going to progress over time. Yeah, I don't see them being an awful pet. They're just really not for everybody, and people really need to know that this is what they're going to turn into, and they're huge and they can't go in a small enclosure.
They're gonna get big, they need a lot of space, and they might not like you. And that could be a problem. Asian water monitors are some of the most impressive reptiles on the planet. They are powerful, intelligent, and absolutely not for the faint of heart. They deserve respect, space, and all of the dead mice, rats, or chickens that they can and want to eat, except not too many because we don't want them to get obese. So sort of. With the right setup, research, and care, and time, they can make wonderful, rewarding companions. Thank you to Andrew here for sharing your insight and your experience with Toothless. Please go check out Andrew's Reptile Ark on YouTube and Instagram. He's got some incredible species that you don't see every day, and this is just one of them. Go show them some support and tell them I sent you. As always, an extra special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. Without the support of my friends there, I would not be able to do what I do. They funded my road trip to come here and see Andrew and feed my snakes and the whole thing. You guys are awesome. Please go to patreon.com/allcanadianreptilegirl to lend your support and see what extras are there, including lots more footage of my talk with Andrew and some of his incredible reptile friends. If you found this helpful, entertaining, or otherwise okay to watch for 20 minutes, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, would you ever keep a water monitor? Or are you more happy admiring them from a safe, splash-free distance? Thanks to you all for watching. I'll be heading home soon to research how to build a monitor-proof panic room for a completely unrelated reason. Stay curious, stay scaly. Actually, no, maybe see a doctor if you're scaly. That might be a problem. But most importantly, remember to nurture all nature. Bye!